Today's a happy day for Palm Beach County business owners and residents alike as we finally enter phase one of the reopening process following the months-down lockdown due to the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic. Now I'm going to step out of the way for just a second and show you what is going on here down in downtown Abacoa. Many people are sitting outside. Some are abiding by social distancing guidelines. When you hear about the national conversation regarding gun violence in America, one of the many proposed solutions is the arming of teachers in schools. Well, that's exactly what was being discussed here at an Okeechobee County School Board meeting, where they voted unanimously to move forward with a motion that will allow teachers to carry firearms. With the season premiere in Pittsburgh, the reinvigorated Noles are ready to apply their hard work and dedication to the court. And despite the usual pregame nerves, the consensus of this young team is one of guarded optimism. Well, Palm Beach County City Commissioners have not yet voted to approve a proposed communications tower, but the city of Boca Raton has already seen a lot of pushback from residents, many of whom were carrying this sign: "The Florida State Athletic Hall of Fame is hallowed ground on the FSU campus, celebrating the legacy, tradition, and values that come from participating in Seminole athletics." The new 2019 inductees bestowed their wisdom onto current athletes, offering advice for the next generation who seek to carry on the torch. Well, here we go again. Just last week, residents were asked to stay out of Lake Okeechobee due to algae blooms. Well, I'm in Jupiter, Florida, where right behind me you can see Utiki Restaurant, where partiers have been wreaking havoc on the docks. Well, it may seem like a scene from your favorite rom-comedy, but this happened at a local trauma center when champion paraglider Damian Leroy proposed to his trauma center nurse a year and a half after sustaining life-threatening injuries, including a bruised back and punctured ribs. Tonight at the men's basketball banquet, FSU will say goodbye to one of the winningest senior classes in school history, one whose record includes 78 wins over the last 3 seasons, 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments, back-to-back Sweet 16s, and an Elite 8. They celebrate an outstanding 2018 to 2019 season with a school record 29 victories and a visit to the Sweet 16. Well, it's about 11:30 in the morning right outside of Deck 84 restaurant in Delray Beach, and you can just see how bad the flooding has gotten. After utilizing specific software used to provide an in-depth analysis of the trends and tendencies that influence game strategies, Careholt and Dunston worked with the scout team to provide the best possible preparation for the women's basketball team. So how do you know if your AC unit needs to be replaced? Well, a good rule of thumb is you can check this label right here. Movies have long been a staple of American lifestyle, dating back to the 20th century. Well, now art fanatics can get a view of some of their favorite movies, from Indiana Jones to King Kong, at this new art exhibit at the Norton Museum of Art in West Palm Beach, Florida. Right now, it's all eyes on the battleground state of Michigan as the Democratic presidential candidates get ready to take the debate stage in Detroit. New this morning, an update to a story we brought you yesterday about a suspect police are calling a modern-day hamburglar. The suspect is behind bars this morning. The Martin County Sheriff's Office says 34-year-old Patrick Benson was arrested Saturday morning after they received a tip once surveillance video was released to the public. New arrests in the Dominican Republic following the violent shooting of baseball great David Ortiz. Victor Hugo Gomez, a convicted drug trafficker, is suspected to be one of the masterminds of the June 9th attack. Well, good news for drivers heading into downtown West Palm Beach. Construction on a section of Clematis Street is scheduled to wrap up tomorrow. New this morning, an Indian River County deputy has resigned after being arrested for a DUI. The TC Palm reports John Green of Vero Beach resigned 2 days after his arrest by FWC officers in May. Green reportedly resigned before an internal affairs investigation could have been completed by the sheriff's office.
You look at us, we're a little bit more rural.
That's just one of the reasons Okeechobee County School District Superintendent Ken Kenworthy says his district is for expanding their current Guardian program, allowing classroom teachers with a concealed carry permit to carry guns in class.
We might have a better opportunity to ward off an assailant if he were to come on, or she were to come on campus.
Last year, the district opted into allowing other staff to carry on campus, but not in the classroom. Now, after a survey of students, parents, teachers, school board staff, and the community showed 62% was for expanding the program, the school board voted unanimously to move forward with teachers carrying, with no opposition from the public at the board meeting.
We have lots of citizens, parents, students who hunt all the time in our rural area, on our ranches, and so I think maybe they view a firearm a little bit different.
We know each other here, we trust each other, and so I think that has a big factor.
Kenneth Feitner's wife is a teacher in Okeechobee County and says he's all for his wife carrying.
Students are doing it. You know, we need to protect the other students from the students that are doing it.
Kenworthy says the teachers who carry will get an extra $1,500 on top of the $500 mandated by the state, and he and the sheriff will get to choose who carries and who doesn't.
I have faith in the sheriff's department in terms of the training that these individuals are going to receive. I'm not going to let anybody carry a weapon on our campus that I don't feel comfortable with.
We did a survey, so we did see where the majority of our population was for it.
Okay.
We just want to protect our kids.
The names of those in the Guardian program are kept confidential, and the superintendent says they are required to keep their firearms strapped to their body at all times. Residents of this Port St. Lucie neighborhood are saying that hundreds of these little crabs have been invading backyards, attaching themselves to screen enclosures, and even sneaking into open garages.
My wife stands out here with the broom when I'm trying to back the car out to keep them from running in the garage, because if they get in there, there's a million places they can hide, and you can only find them when they die.
Neighbors living along Southeast Coral Reef Street captured photo and video of the clingy critters attempting to infiltrate back porches.
They're all inside here. They're all running behind everything. Look at them all.
They say heavy rains cause land crabs to evacuate their homes and seek shelter at higher grounds.
I guess they're very good climbers because they managed to get up into the yard, and then they were up on the screen. And I'm looking out from the inside of my house, and the screen had several dozen at least.
Residents say most of the crabs went back into the water once the levels dropped, but at least once or twice a year they come back with a vengeance. In Port St. Lucie, Kenan Scott, WPBF 25 News. For Mike Martin Jr., it's no secret that greatness runs in the family. After his father's 40-season run that saw 17 College World Series appearances, 8 ACC championships, and an induction into the FSU Hall of Fame, the new head coach undoubtedly has big shoes to fill. But Coach Martin has big plans for the Seminoles, hoping to modernize the team to make them even more competitive as they enter this new era.
I took bits and pieces from a lot of the guys that I played for, and it kind of made me into the person that I am. My skill set when it comes to coaching, and not afraid to tell kids that not exactly what they want to hear, but it's all in the name of winning and making them the best player they can be.
I think it's more of the off-the-field stuff where you really see a change. We're really getting involved in the mental health and the mental side of the game, and that's something I've really never experienced being in college. We're really taking that seriously.
Along with a winning philosophy, Coach Martin has brought some new faces to the coaching staff, with pitching coach Jim Bellinger and assistant coach Mike Metcalf.
I'm around Metcalf more just being a hitter, but I can tell that Jimmy's doing a lot of good stuff with the pitchers. They're working hard, and I think he's bringing sort of a new light to them, and they're full of energy these days, and I think he's going to do a really good job with them this year.
Coach Martin has been noted for his special relationship with the team, taking time to build a rapport with each player. He encourages his new coaches to do the same, extending their relationships with players beyond baseball.
I think it's more of that personal relationship that really, makes an impact on a player's life rather than, things just involved with baseball. And I think that's one thing that Coach Martin's really tried to do is bring guys in that care about the player, off the field and not just on the field.
Chase, it's his team, but he's with those pitchers nonstop. So they're in very good hands. From an offensive standpoint, you got guys like Reese Albert that have been around the program that know what we expect and the amount of effort that we put into things. So it's kind of a little bit of both. You combine that with the coaching staff, and we kind of have stepped it up, a little bit energy-wise and intensity level. It's made for a good fall and early spring.
Despite the changes of leadership going into the 2020 season, the culture of camaraderie is enough to bind the Seminoles together. A theme not too uncommon in Seminole sports, Coach Martin hopes to support and challenge his new team in order to continue the tradition of excellence.
But this year we've got Chase Haney still here, back for his 5th year, and he's one of my best friends. And it's great to see him assume the leadership role. And honestly, most of the juniors, myself, CJ, Connor Grady, Jonas Galaro, all those guys are assuming that sort of role just because we've been here together for the past 3 years.
Being the captain of this team is something I really take pride in, and I know I have to show up every day and be consistent, and bring that energy just to, kind of bring everyone together, make sure we're on the right path, going into the season.
As for Coach Martin, his focus lies on moving the team forward toward greatness.
Well, I wanted, to continue a lot of the things that, Levin put in place. But I want to modernize it. I want to get more into analytics. I want to recruit earlier. I want guys to understand, when their parents to understand that if they choose Florida State, they're choosing, sure, a brand and, great tradition, but they're also going to be, updated techniques and things that we're going to utilize throughout to make them, the best person and player they can be.
I'm Kenan Scott for Knowles All Access.